Hi, Erin.
Hello, Jess. How are you?
I'm so excited for this podcast, but also a little sad. It's a little bittersweet.
I know. We're wrapping season one.
We are. This is the season one wrap up because we have some really cool ideas for next season.
We do. And season two, I think we learned a lot in season one, right? But season two, we want to take that further and make it more of a give back to our listening community.
And before we dive down that rabbit hole, let's start how we always start. Erin, what's your word of the episode?
My word of the episode, I think, is bittersweet because I was excited to have this conversation today, but at the same time, I'm like, wow, season one went so fast. And I cherish the conversations we had with all of our guests and then the feedback we've gotten from our community. And so whenever something comes to kind of like an end point, or maybe I'm going to say a pause point, what came before it's always a little bittersweet, right? So I'm going with
Oh,
that.
I agree. A little bittersweet. I'm hopeful. We've
Yes.
learned a lot through season one about audio.
My gosh, the audio.
A lot about
Wow.
audio. Wow. Yeah. We learned a lot about Fraggles and inside jokes and menopause and all of the things, right? And
Yes.
season two is only going to continue forward.
Yes.
So those
Yes,
are
I think we can take those lessons that we learned and continue to thread them throughout because so many themes recurred, right? Which I think is interesting because, as our listeners know, this show is completely unscripted. It's off the cuff, it's organic, natural conversations, it's things that just unfold as we're visiting with our guests, but there were certain themes that were underpinning all of what we discussed. And I think we can carry that forward. And I'm curious to see how the guests in season two, what themes will come from that. Will it be the similar themes? Will it be something completely new? So there's an element of like excitement and wonder there too.
very true. And I love the theme that we've seen all from season one of finding resilience to continue on your journey, right? Everyone
Yes.
had kind of this moment in their health journey where they hit a wall or they didn't find the right doctor or the doctor that they were working with was at their own standstill. And this idea of kind of moving forward in
Yeah.
finding new avenues and new ways of moving forward, I think was a really big trend that we saw from season one and will
Yes.
obviously play into what we do next.
Yeah, I think another theme is community. That came
Mhm.
up a lot, especially most recently with Lisa Greenbaum when she was talking about the girl gang. Like it's this element of community and that this is not a journey you need to walk alone, nor will you be alone.
All of
Yes.
us are at some crossroads, right? And we're
Yeah.
all in need of that girl gang. I think that was such a great message that we heard
Yeah.
throughout the whole season.
Absolutely. Completely reinforced but said in different ways, but the
Mhm.
meaning was always the same. Like the community, the support, I see you, I hear you, I understand you, and you're not alone is really the overall message that I think we gathered from every single one of our guests.
I think another really cool trend that we saw through all of our ending sessions of like, what are you over? What are you done with? Was the grift and how many
Yes.
of us as women are like, I'm so tired of being sold these products or being told I need this and this and this and this. You see something and you want to buy into it. Like you want to
Yeah. You
believe
want to
that there's
believe.
this magic thing that's going to suddenly make you happier or make you more energized. And the grift is strong.
Yeah, it is. And it's loud and it's everywhere. And I don't think that there is one corner of social media that isn't trying to scam you. I would describe it as a feeling of like desperation because these individuals have sought help and they've been told, oh, it's just aging. Like, it's fine. It's just no, no, shut your mouth. And it's hard to separate like fact from just fad and like fanatical.
I think Leslie Jones is one of the funniest women on the planet. And her coming out lately with her stories about going through menopause
Uh-huh.
has been the light at the end of my day tunnel. That is going to be goal for season two. If anyone who's
Mhm.
listening can help make that a reality,
Yes.
please
Please
let's have
do.
her. Please let's have her on as a guest because I think she's really being open at like every interview she's doing about
Yeah.
how uncomfortable she is and that we're not really talking about this enough. And that was one of the reasons we wanted to start this podcast in the first place, was so like people could come on and be vulnerable about how uncomfortable are you? How do we get past this? How do we still have careers and focus on our professional life when we kind of just feel like our health and our wellness is crumbling and falling
Right.
apart? And we've
Right.
learned through this process of season one that man, health journeys look so drastically different from everyone. We've had hip replacements and we've had getting fired and going through divorces and losing husbands, and on top of that, menopause. It's just a great reminder that it doesn't happen in isolation. You're never going to go through this midlife with just one dramatic symptom. It's just an accumulation of everything that kind of hits at once. And
Mhm.
then how do we not just keep going, because that makes it sound like you're just surviving, but how do you actually
Sure.
thrive through this time?
Yeah, and I think one of the other things that I found comforting and reassuring and also validating is like the rhetoric that's out there about midlife is like it's a decline, and we had so many people talk about stepping into their power.
Mhm.
Desi talked about that. We had Lisa talk about that. And I think there's some real magic there when we
Mhm.
start taking control of that rhetoric and we reframe it as no, like I'm stepping into a point in my life where I'm done with the bullshit. I'm done with people just not having their shit together,
Mhm.
and I'm done giving more than I receive. I'm done over giving. Like there's a real magic and a real power in that midlife point, and we hear so often the opposite. And it's probably because the people saying the opposite are part of the grift. You
Trying
know,
to sell us something.
they want to sell you a magic pill, a greens powder, whatever it happens to be, the answer to all your problems because, oh, everything you're experiencing is negative. And then it's like confirmation bias, like then we look for
Mhm.
things to confirm our own fears. And then we come across that and we're like, obviously, I need that.
Obviously, I mean, the
Mhm.
woman that's on the commercial looks just like me.
Right. Right. She, she's 27 and she still has all her collagen and she's got a ring light. So shut your mouth.
And I don't know about you, but going through this season, I've come out feeling more powerful than ever before. It's
Mhm.
such an interesting reframe of no, this isn't a weakness. This isn't a decline. This is actually when you get to be your most powerful, most
Powerful.
embodied, most empowered version of yourself. And, you only get to charge forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Because what other choice do you have? And I think at this point, there's an element of confidence that maybe we have now that we didn't have 15 years ago. I know that's true for me. Of course, there are still days where I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. And am I grown up enough? But that's imposter syndrome, and that's a whole other podcast. So yeah, I think there is an element of confidence too that does allow us to be like, this is what I'm gonna tolerate, and this is what I'm not. This is what I'm
Mhm.
worth. And you either are gonna meet me or I'm moving on.
I think that was the perfect way to segue into what we want season 2 to look like, because
Yes.
season 2 of this podcast is we're going to keep with a lot of the same story flow. It's still going to be very authentic. We're just going to ask questions that we want to ask in the moment, but we
Mhm.
want to be able to pay it forward a little bit. We kept thinking about how could we do more? How could we give more to the audience? How could we make sure that we were really moving forward with this conversation in this community? And we were thinking like, okay, extra resources or longer videos, longer podcasts, more guests, and everything kept being more and more and more. And what we realized is like, we as middle-aged women, we ain't got time for that. There's no more to give. And we know you as the audience members, like you don't have more to give either. And so what we
Mhm.
want to do is instead of giving more, we want to give back. And we kind of want to flip season 2 a little bit on its head. And we are going to be figuring out a way to sponsor some listeners in our crowd to be able to get the support and the help that they need. Because that's been one of the trending tones throughout the entire season 1 is get your tests. Don't get it
Yep.
once, get multiple keep getting tested. And we know that that's not financially reasonable for some of you listening. And then the
Yep.
other thing that we heard too was the benefits of having support, knowing that you're cared for by others, getting some maybe mental health support as well. And so we really want to open up season 2, which will be in September, October,
October.
somewhere in there, right? That season's really going to be focused on how do we not necessarily give you more because you have so much going on, but how do we give back to this community?
We live in a country that chronically underfunds preventative care. But then we've got this other voice about recovery and optimization, which don't even get me started on that.
Go
That
listen to
also,
Krista's episode about that. That
I was
was
going to say, let's
uh,
go back to Krista Scott Dixon. But we've got that voice of like, you need all these things. You have to do all of these things. But P.S., all of those things require access. And to get access, you need generational wealth because
mhm,
we live in a country that chronically underfunds preventative care. So that's a whole problem. So that's one of the reasons we want to be more philanthropic about what we do in the future, is because there is that dynamic, and like living between those two realities is really painful because it leaves women feeling like, I can't go over here because I don't make $8 million a year, and I can't go over here because I live in a rural area, and the doctor that I see has no clue about this and is categorized
mhm.
as aging. Or they simply have too many choices and everybody has a different message, and then what's real and what's factual and effective gets muddied. It gets lost in all of that noise.
So we have a few requests. If you're listening right now, audience
Yes.
members, we have some requests from you. One, get us in contact with Leslie Jones so she can be
Yes.
a guest. Two,
Let's tag her in the episode.
but we also want to know how can we best support the community? If you've just got recommendations of what you want us to dive into or who you want us to interview in season 2, like reach out to us obviously on Instagram at Fit and Flustered. You can reach out to us on LinkedIn and Facebook. We're both there under our very hard to pronounce and spell names. We're there.
Amen.
You can find us with all of the consonants.
Yes, all of them strung together. It's a wild ride.
But like, yeah, reach out. Let us know what you really want to see for season 2. And then most importantly, like, thank you for being here. Thank you for listening or watching or however you're ingesting and digesting this food that we're giving you on a weekly basis. Thank you for being fit and flustered and fraggled with us.
Yes. And I think thank you for showing up as your authentic selves. There's a reason that we have the audience that we do. And I think it's
Mhm.
because it speaks to you, because again, it's unscripted. It's sometimes a little wild and unhinged, but isn't midlife kind of like that too? It's a little unscripted, it's a little wild, and it's a little unhinged. And I think that that's okay, because our message is it's all right and you're not alone. Deeply appreciate your listenership, your devotion, the times that you've shared this podcast. If you leave a review, we just deeply appreciate your engagement and do want to hear what could make this even better for you.
So true. I'm talking about some wild and unhinged things. I keep remembering back to the first few episodes when like my Instagram feed was just full of all of these underwear ads. And I kept just being like, I'm so sick of this. Every time I open Instagram, it's just like naked women.
You're like, wow, what have I done to my algorithm? Is this a
And then
sign?
is this right? And then the more that we talked, the more that I got like the green powders and the collagens and all the and I was
Yeah.
like, I can we go back to the beginning of the season where it was just naked women all over my feed?
Right. Like, I think I liked that better than what all this grift is.
And one of my highlights of the show was also Amber Toole coming on and being like, well, I haven't had much of a story. It's been really easy. I did have this really traumatic thing happen to my knee.
I'm like, Amber, that is a serious story. I just love her. She's the
Oh,
cutest
man.
thing ever.
Yeah, that was wonderful. That was such a great moment of like, honey, right? It's so her, but it's also proof as like we as women
Yeah.
shortchange everything, right? That we're going through or doing, and we're just like, oh, it's no big deal. No, no, no. It's guys, it's a big deal. You can say it's a big deal.
And it's okay. It's okay to be like, I'm struggling right now.
Yeah,
And
a
that's how I
hundred
feel.
percent.
And it's okay.
And hopefully if you're out there and you're having a day, one of those days where you just want to punch someone in the face, turn on one of these episodes. Hopefully you can feel a little less alone as we talk about our rage and
Yes.
right? How
The
sometimes it
rage.
just feels like you are constantly having road rage when you're not in your car. Yeah. Turn on an
Yeah.
episode, listen to somebody else go through it. It will make you feel more supported and taken care of. And
Yeah.
hopefully you get a chuckle or two because that's the most important part. Like laughter just makes this so much better.
Yeah. Yeah. Laughter, I think, is one thing that unites us too. Sharing a laugh, sharing a joke, an inside joke, or, something just crazy and wild. And I think that that's one of the things that's part of the energy of this show, is the humor of it, the fraggledness of it.
More reason that we need Leslie Jones on
Yes.
season 2.
That's a goal.
That's a goal
Goal.
with all of our Fraggles.
our
All
Fraggles.
right. We do have some cool new ideas for season 2. As we've mentioned, we'll be very focused on supporting the community, helping them get the support that they need. Stick around for that. That's going to be coming. We've also kind of changed our segments up a little bit for what season 2 is going to be. We're going to stick with our ending of what are you over, what's dead to you, but then we're gonna add something on to the end of that. So let's go ahead and play it out now. So Erin,
Okay.
what are you over? What are you done with?
Over carrying more than I can adequately hold. I realize like there's something so beautiful about subtraction. You know, it's not going to, over the years, I've learned that it's not going to harm my career. It's going to sharpen it. But I think to be able to subtract, there's an element of confidence that you have to have. So I'm done trying to fit it all in, and I'm focused more on what where's the deep meaningful work that I can invest in versus saying yes to everything.
I think that's great. That leads really well into what I'm currently over. I have had this amazing discussion with an app programmer earlier this week who is creating this really cool, mindful, self exploratory app that I'm honored to be testing. And he asked me, he was like, well, have you ever experienced anything like this? Have you ever used an app for this kind of personal development? And I haven't because all of the things I focus on are so professionally oriented. Everything is a to do list around work. Everything is about how do you get better at productivity and efficiency. And nothing is really focused on getting better as a human. And so I'm over
Right.
this idea that in order to improve, it has to be something that you're doing on the clock for some type of
Mm,
compensation. And instead, I really like this idea and leaning
mhm,
heavily into you can improve as a human, and that's just as valuable as improving as
mhm.
a worker or an entrepreneur or a business owner. So
Right. Yeah. I love that because I would also argue, and I don't know what evidence there is, but as a science nerd, I would wonder improving that dimension of yourself, the whole person, the human, could only serve to improve the other aspect of
so true.
yourself, the professional, the way you show up at work.
There's a reason that Krista told us that power skills were women's skills.
Yes. Yes.
And then
100%.
after we talk about the things we're over, then we're going to end with what's your lady love of your life right now? Erin, what's your lady love?
So my current lady love, and this is just very simple and it's silly, but aloe vera masks that you use at night, they're super cold when you put them on, but 15 minutes and it feels good. It's like my time for like a mini self-care session is just put that on. I listen to some music and then I feel like so relaxed and I'm ready to go to bed and I'm not carrying any of the stuff with me that I had throughout the day. So it's something simple, it's silly. I got them on Amazon, but it makes me just feel that much better.
My lady love is I got to see Tori Amos last night in Orlando. And
Oh,
like every part of
so
my high
nice.
school, Jessica came out with
Right.
like it's just a great was a great nostalgic moment and an amazing way to remember how incredibly punk rock she was for like
Yes.
playing 2 pianos at the same time. Like she just is this fierce, fierce woman and she still is. And
That's
so
awesome.
my lady love right now is going to experience the things that made you happy in your formative years
Mm,
because
I
they're
love
still going to
that.
make you happy now.
Yeah, 100%. Mm,
Well,
I love that.
thank you for being here for Fit and Flustered. We are wrapping up season 1. We'll be back in a few weeks. Stay tuned for
Yes.
more. Erin,
Yes.
you're the Rachel to my Monica.
Love it. Love it. Couldn't be happier.
Thank you for being fit and flustered and fraggled with me over these last 6 months.
Wouldn't trade it for a thing.
Thank you, listeners. We'll catch you guys in a few weeks.
Bye, everyone.